Hey guys, welcome back to another Naked Truth. It's me, Clara. I'm naked, telling the truth, sitting on my sofa in my lounge and don't know what's going down. Anyway, I'm not a rapper, as you can tell. You know, in these videos in Naked Truth that I like to talk to you about my love life or the fact that I don't really have one. I've talked to you about, you know, how long I've been single and how great being single has been for me, about my relationship with myself. I've spoken on the channel as well about sex addiction and my difficult past with relationships. And now I'm in a place where, get ready for this, I don't know why I make my own theme tunes, they're bloody terrible. Sorry, I am sorry. This month, September 2020, it has been, one whole year since I have been on a date. And one whole year, or just over a whole year since I've been on a date, and just over a year since I've had any kind of physical contact with another person. So that means that I have been celibate for a whole entire year. Now, I want to put it out there, this isn't something that I chose. I didn't say, right, that's it, I am not going to have sex with anybody for a whole entire year. I'm not going to go on any dates with anybody for a whole entire year. I'm not going to do anything for a whole entire year. I didn't do that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I know there are people out there that do that and they've done it for very good reasons, so they can learn more about themselves. But for me, that was not it. It wasn't the goal. I didn't set out to do that. About a year ago, I finished a relationship with somebody that I'd been dating for about 6 to 8 weeks. And it was like a really bizarre situation where I learned quite a lot about myself. I don't want to blame the other person and I don't want to blame myself. You know, there's always two people involved in a situation, but it was just quite chaotic. And I think that I played a big part in that, and I owned the part that I played in that. And it really made me think about, like, who am I? Why do I react like this in relationships? And how can I, like, fix myself and repair myself so that I'm not like that in relationships? And also it made me think about, what do I actually want from a relationship, and who is the person that I actually want to be with? So I really started to think about all of these kind of things. I've been on dating sites during that time, or dating apps, should I say, and I've spoken to lots of different people, but because I've become really clear about what I want and what I want for my life, I think that it's quite easy for me now when I start talking to somebody to say, right, okay, are they on the same page as me? No, they're not. So there's no point me continuing this conversation. It doesn't mean that I don't think that person is attractive or that I don't think they're a nice person. It just means that we're not on the same page, so why are we wasting each other's time? I have learned from my own experience that to get with somebody and then think you're going to change them, or that you're going to, you know, somehow fit them into the box that you want them to be in, is a fool's game. It's an absolute fool's game, because we can only ever change ourselves, and it's not fair to somebody else if you're secretly thinking, yeah, I'm going to get with this person and change them, and then you're trying to force them to change. That's not fair. They are who they are, and it's up to them to change if they want to. Now, on the flip side of that, I'm not saying that I'm looking for this perfect being who must exist out there somewhere. I do understand relationships are relationships with two people, and I think they're a great opportunity, if you look at them right and if you do them right, for each individual person to work on themselves within the security of that relationship. But I just kind of have this reference, these kind of, I guess, like boundaries and guidelines for the kind of person that I'm looking for, because I know the kind of person I am, I know the kind of life that I'm trying to create, and so, like I say, we need to be on the same page. If we're on different pages, I'm going to get annoyed with you because I'm trying to get you on my page. You're going to get annoyed with me because you're trying to get me on your page and I'm not willing to go. So I think that it's about being really realistic. And in the past, what I tried to do, for some reason that I do know now from doing some searching and some kind of like really looking at myself, is that in the past, even though I knew people weren't the right people for me, even though sometimes they were telling me that they didn't want the same thing as me, I felt like it was my duty to try and get them to change. And I felt like, you know, I needed to get them to change, because in somehow that made me worthy, deserving, and I didn't want to feel rejected. It's like these people could just be telling me, hey Clara, I like you, but I don't want the same thing as you. And I would just kind of ignore that I don't want the same thing as you and be like, no, I'm going to make you want the same thing as me because I don't want to feel rejected. And if I get you on the same page as me, then I can feel good about myself. And that's a really dangerous game to play. And I learned the hard way over years that doesn't work out very well. I had no like boundaries. I would just fall into these situations all the time and I couldn't control myself. I was out of control. So after having that experience last year, I really was like, right, I need to switch things up. I need to sort my stuff out, and I don't want to be in that situation again. I don't want to be in that type of situation again, and I don't want to feel out of control again. And that's kind of like that element. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I'm like some kind of like control freak. I've let go, but I can let go because I now have released a lot of the underlying stuff that was causing me to have those dramatic reactions. So I'm in this place and I'm like, it's been a year since I've dated somebody or touched somebody or kissed somebody or done anything with anybody. And I can honestly say I don't feel like I am lacking, that I am missing anything. There are occasional moments where I feel lonely. There are occasional moments where I feel like, oh, it would be so nice if, but I catch myself in myself. I've got more than one self. I catch myself in those moments and I kind of just have a word with myself. Like, I am lucky, I am blessed. I love the home that I live in. I have beautiful friends and family. And what I say to myself is that I know that person that I'm going to be with exists. They are living and breathing somewhere out there on this planet, in amongst nearly 8 billion people, right? But I know they exist and I know they're out there. And so that is a huge reassurance to me, to know that that person exists. All I have to do is align to them. If I sit here just thinking about the fact they're not here, I'm in a state of wanting, I'm in a state of neediness, I'm in a state of lacking. And as we've spoken about before here on this channel, and I think that I have so many examples of this, is how we feel is creating a vibration that is going out and is creating the situations that come back to us. So if I'm constantly feeling lacking, needy, then all I'm going to do is attract more situations that make me feel those things over and over again. So essentially what I'm doing is, although that person that's right for me is out there somewhere in the universe, maybe, you know, circling around me, not too far away, because I'm feeling like that, it's almost like I am building an energetic brick wall around me that keeps that person from me. Because I'm not saying, hey, I just let go. I know that that person is coming to me. I know they exist. So why do I need to stress about it? Why do I need to worry? Why do I need to feel lack or neediness? They're coming. It's already done. It's already done. That's it. And that feeling and that emotion of it's already done feels like such a relief and feels like such a blessing to me right now. So that's where I'm at. So that's where I'm spending most of my time. And as I said to you, like last night, there will be little occasions where I'm like, for a moment, literally for a moment. And then I go, no, I don't need to feel like that. And the same thing happened, and this is like really crazy, is in the past when I feel like missing somebody, I normally go back to my mum. Obviously my mum died when I was 9 years old, and I spent the majority of my childhood after she died, my teenage years and all of my 20s just missing my mum all the time and wanting her back. And I don't really ever feel like that anymore. And last night as I got into bed, I felt, I've spoken about these neural pathways before, myself almost sliding back into the way that I used to think, into the way that I used to feel. I felt the emotions of missing my mum, and I'm that poor child whose mum, and I just went, no, stop. We're not doing this anymore. We don't need to do this anymore. It's not pleasurable, it's not good, and it's actually blocking your blessings. So stop. And sometimes I forget how far I have come as a person to be able to even do that, because it used to be integral to me that when I started to feel like I miss my mum, and this would happen multiple nights a week, I would end up crying hysterically, looking at her pictures, playing certain songs that reminded me of her, and crying my eyes out. But now I can stop that right at the very start. I don't need to go into that and get myself into an emotional state, which doesn't get me anywhere or make me feel any better. Now I can stop myself right at the start. And that makes me feel so powerful. I have a choice. I get to choose whether I want to feel like that or not. And that's like, mind blown. Like a lot of the stuff that, if you go back and watch these Naked Truths, like I've spoken about a lot of this stuff before, and I was speaking about it from a point of theory and a little bit of kind of feeling and a little bit of knowledge. But what I realize, and I say this all the time, we are just like onions. We are stinky. No, I'm joking. We make people cry. No, we're like onions because we're just layered. We're so layered. And when you think like, I've got this level of like deep kind of understanding and connection, which is really beautiful, and trust and faith. But I know, and what's exciting is it's going to get deeper. It's going to get more. There's going to be more to it, because if I go back to when I started on this journey 8 years ago, when I was reading this stuff, it seemed like an alien language, and it just sparked a lot of anger in me because I was depressed, I was suffering with anxiety, I was really deeply unhappy. I hated myself, I hated my body. And 8 years, fast forward 8 years, I love my body, I love myself, and that love for myself deepens and grows as I continue to work on myself. So everything just shifts and changes. Let me know your experience with love and relationships. How have you learned to love yourself? Let me know. Drop your comments in the comments section below. Please make sure that you give the video a like. And if you really want to help me out, subscribe to the channel. I will be back with more Naked Truth real soon.